Today I want to share with you the absolute power of living your cosmic life purpose. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I help people to navigate their spiritual awakening so they can stay on a conscious path of ascension. In this video, I want to give you guys some crystal clear clarity about how you can live your purpose in the universe. But before I get into this, I want to remind you guys that I just launched my new digital course, Meditation for Spiritual Awakening. So check the link in the descriptions below and you can find out all the details, because for a very short period of time, I have a special founder's discount. So this is really about living your purpose at a cosmic level instead of only trying to live it at an earth-based level. Now, why is this important? Because look at our planet right now, you guys. It's like burning down. I mean, everything is collapsing and it's so unpredictable. I mean, the environment is really very difficult. And I know that on Earth, we're so used to thinking about life purpose as being about our line of work or our career or what we're doing in our day-to-day life on a physical action-based level. But when you look at where things are today, that's really not enough, and it's not powerful enough, because the events that are going on around us are so huge, are so, I don't know, it's just like a real collapse happening. So how do you figure out what your purpose is in that kind of an environment, and why does it matter? So I want to show you how to go underneath all of that and reconnect with your ultimate cosmic life purpose so that you don't have to succumb to all of the negative fear-based energy that's trying to suppress who you really are in this universe. Because when you live from your cosmic purpose, you will be amazed at the level of empowerment you will feel. And what I'm going to do later in this video is I'm going to share a story with you about a kind of a really weird sort of an ET encounter that I had years ago that will illustrate to you exactly how this works and why it is so incredibly powerful to know what your cosmic purpose is. So let's start with where we are today and how the events around the world are influencing our ability to live our purpose. Now, prior to a few months ago, we had that very stable reality, that platform of life that we could count on, and from standing on solid ground, we could each figure out what our purpose is, navigate what we wanted to do with our lives, why we came to this planet, etc., etc. But we had that foundation that we felt we could rely on. But then you guys know what happened, the lockdown, the violence, all this stuff that's going on, and the pressure and the suppression and the lockdown and the fear and the media and everything that's happening. It's like that entire platform has just been pulled out from under us. And now it's fear, fear, fear all the time. So we are being inundated with fear-based energy. So the platform that we were originally standing on, from which we could figure out our life purpose, has been eliminated, and now we're just being covered with mountains and mountains of fear and violence and uncertainty and craziness. So when you limit your interpretation of life purpose to an earth-based level, what you risk running into is finding yourself in a fear-based purpose of survival. And a fear-based purpose of survival is always going to lead to misery and pain and confusion and suffering. And that's not really why we came to this planet as lightworkers, right? So I want to help you guys connect with an empowering sense of purpose that is cosmic in nature, that cannot in any way be interfered with by all of this junk. A purpose that is actually more powerful than all of this stuff, and doesn't rely on the powers that be providing you with a platform that makes it all possible. So in order to come into our full power at a cosmic level, we have to go deep into who we really are at a cosmic level, which brings us to a space in our consciousness that is transcendent and bigger and more powerful than all this junk going on planet Earth. So what is your purpose? What is your purpose in the universe when you go to that level? That's what we want to begin to enact. And the beauty of this, you guys, is that it's so incredibly simple. So I'm going to show you how to live a purposeful life no matter what your situation is. In order to understand what that purpose is, I want you to think about your true nature as a cosmic infinite being. Who are you in that sense? Your true nature is one of love, light, and radiant energy, an extremely high vibrational, powerful energy. That's who you really are. So your purpose, when you come from that place, your purpose is to contribute that energy, that positivity, that light, that love from the Creator, because you are an extension of that which creates the entire universe. That's who you are. You're an extension of the Creator. So your purpose in being on any planet, not just Earth, but any planet in this universe, is to contribute that energy into the cosmos, into the planetary environment. And that's why I told you guys before, don't pay any attention to these people who say, oh, love and light, forget about that. Forget about that, guys. Love and light is the power. It's the power of the cosmos. I mean, what else are you going to contribute in all this darkness except light? Now, if you were to think of a spectrum of presence, let's look at love and let's look at fear. Fear is the absence of love. Fear is equated with darkness. Love is equated with light. It's really very simple. And there's a full spectrum there, right? So if the world is moving into more and more fear and more darkness, do you think forgetting about love and light is a good idea? No, it's not. What you want to do is you want to push your energy more into that spectrum of love and light, because love and light is high vibration. It's a high vibrational state. Fear and darkness is a very low vibrational state. It's a low energy. It's repressive. Love and light is expressive. It's powerful. It's empowered. Fear and darkness is an unempowered state. It's the state of slavery. Okay? Love and light is the state of a creator. You see how simple that is, you guys? So your purpose in the universe is to shift your energy as much as you can into that spectrum of love and light and high vibrational energy, because that's how we turn this situation around. And that's why fighting with each other doesn't work. It doesn't turn anything around. See, when we fight with each other, we're still in that low vibrational frequency of darkness and fear. Because whenever you have that dominate or being dominated, you have anger and fear. Anger and fear are married to each other. They need each other in order to exist. That's a whole other law of physics that we won't get into here today. But when you're fighting with other people, when people are fighting with each other, they're just generating more energy in that darkness. That's all they're doing. So love and light is where we want to move this to, so you can actually live a purposeful life in all this craziness by understanding that your power and your purpose in the cosmos is to bring that love and light, that vibration, that high frequency energy into this planetary realm as much as you are able to. When you do that, you guys, you're living a cosmic purpose. So all you really need to understand is that darkness has no power over light, but light has all the power over darkness. So when we get inundated with fear with violence, with anger, with confusion, with division, when we're getting inundated with that, that's just trying to suppress our light. It's trying to distract us from our true cosmic purpose. So I'm here to remind you of what that true cosmic purpose is so that you can wake up inside of your own spiritual awakening and begin to live from the power of who you really are in this world and in this universe. Okay, so now I want to tell you guys that story I promised you about that ET encounter to illustrate to you why understanding and being clear about your purpose is so powerful. Now, this story is going to sound a little bit weird, but this is a story of something that happened to me that I experienced where, let's just say, some extraterrestrial forces were trying to shift me away from my actual purpose of being on this planet into using me for their purpose, which I would say was probably quite nefarious. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I'm a walk-in. And if you want to know how that happened, you can check out this video series right here. So the incident that I'm going to share with you happened not long after I first arrived on this planet as a walk-in. Now, I came in here in full consciousness of who I was and why I was here after a whole lot of preparation that preceded that event. So the story started in a very weird way. I was invited to a luncheon in Georgetown in Washington, D.C. With about 10 people. And I didn't really know any of the people there. I knew maybe the person that invited me. I think that was it. This was quite a while ago, so I might be a little fuzzy on the people themselves. But the person that was sitting across from me was a man. I don't remember his name. I'm gonna guess he was like probably in his 40s, maybe 50. I'm not really sure. But here's what was so weird, you guys. This guy was very clear that he was extraterrestrial. He said he was from Sirius. Now, the strange thing was about this gathering, the whole energy around this thing is very weird in terms of how it sits in my memory. It was like normal. It was like, well, that's normal. He's from Sirius. Yeah, it's kind of bizarre, okay? When I look back on it, it's like real bizarre. And I don't remember anything. I just remember all this conversation. I remember him saying something about he was involved in some weird kind of technology thing that was secret. It was in some very obscure part of the planet. I'm not going to say where it was, but it's not a place that most people think about, okay? And it was all very strange. It was like, this whole secret mission he was on that no one was supposed to know about. And it involved some kind of high-level communication technology or something like that. That's the thing that really stands strong in my memory. And I think there was a lot, it was DC, right? So there was, political conversation, but nothing real significant at the time. So that's all I remember about that. So then, this is where it gets really weird, you guys. A few days later, I have a memory, and this is the only thing I remember. I was in that same guy's car, and I keep thinking it was like a black Mercedes or something, but I'm not really sure. I just know it was a black car. I was in his car. This is a physical memory, guys. It's not a dream. And he was dropping me off at my house. I don't know why I was in his car. I don't even know where I was. I don't remember anything about it. I only remember being in his car, him pulling into my driveway and dropping me off. I went in the house and I have no memory other than that. That's weird. But I also want you to know that when it comes to extraterrestrial stuff, this is not unusual to have memories wiped out. That is not at all unusual. So I have no idea why I was there, why I was in his car, where I had been before, how I got there. I have no idea. Okay. So that's the first part of the story. It gets even more interesting. So anyway, I went in the house, seemed like a normal day, normal evening, went to bed, went to sleep. Well, about 1:30 or so in the morning, the phone rings. And that was weird. Now, this was before everybody had cell phones. We still had landlines, right? The phone was in a separate bedroom next to the bedroom that I was sleeping in with the person. Now, if you remember my story, the husband of the person prior to me was still in the picture. We were like friends. We just saw each other as really good friends, okay? So he's kind of involved in the beginning of this situation. So it wakes us up, and one of us went to answer the phone. I don't remember. We both ended up answering the phone, one before the other. I don't remember the order because it was a while ago, okay? I think he went first to answer the phone. And I was like, who was that calling at 1:30 in the morning, right? And he said, I don't know what that was. It was just like all these weird noises in the phone, like weird sort of electronic noises. So I was like, well, that's weird. Went back to sleep. Phone rings again. So I got up to answer the phone. Same thing happened. It was like this weird electronic noises. Like, I can't describe it other than to say it was like all this strange kind of electronic sorts of noises. And it was just weird. And it was like, so I hung up, and then we heard this sound outside of the house. So the bed is facing windows here. And on this side of the room was just a wall, right? There were no windows, but you could hear this sound outside of the wall that sounded like a big truck idling, like a really loud sort of idling sound. And I'm like, what is that sound? That is so weird. Well, the next thing you know, I'm just going to say the husband, because I want to protect this person's privacy, just passed out, went to sleep, passed out. I sit up in bed, and I'm facing a wall that has a window on it, okay? I sit up in bed. All of a sudden, the whole atmosphere is like got this weird kind of electronic vibration to it. And these extraterrestrials start walking literally through the wall towards me, okay? There were probably, I'm going to say like maybe 7 of them. I don't remember counting. Some were tall and some were shorter. They were like, had long, thin arms, long, thin legs. It was just like I could kind of make out their body shape. It was a typical kind of ET body shape that you always hear about, but I couldn't make out any real features. But what was really strange was the whole physical, it was like all the atoms and molecules were vibrating in this very weird energy. Now, let me add something here to you guys, because I don't want anybody to get freaked out, okay? I never had any fear. It was very intense. It was not fun, but I was not afraid, okay? And I'll explain why. And this is what's going to get back to why knowing your purpose is so powerful. The next thing I knew, they're walking towards me, and one of them gets up on the bed. And what they were trying to do, I knew exactly what they were trying to do. It was absolutely clear in my mind. There was no mystery to me whatsoever about what was going on. I knew that they had a purpose on this earth. They had something in mind. I don't know what it was specifically, but it wasn't good. I knew it wasn't good. They saw me as a potential asset for what their purpose was. They wanted to turn me away from what I was here to do and get me on their side. They wanted me working with them, okay? Well, I knew this was not going to work, but here's what they did. This is why I know their purpose was nefarious. I mean, look at their methods, guys. It's like ridiculous, right? So I was subjected to the most intense, I'll call it sucking energy that you could ever imagine experiencing. It was almost like something was trying to vacuum me out of my body into a different purpose, into something else. And now I want you to understand, I knew it wasn't going to work. You want to know how I knew? Because I already knew nothing's going to move me from my purpose. It's not happening. I knew it, okay? There was no question. So I was not in a situation where I was like, oh, what's happening? Oh my gosh, this is so terrible. Oh my goodness, somebody help me. I wasn't in that situation at all. I knew exactly what was going on, okay? And I knew they were not going to succeed. But here's what happened next. So next, Literally, you know how when you look at a physical room and everything's stable, everything's still? Well, everything suddenly got wavy. Like everything was like wavy lines. Like, oh gosh, it makes me think of those old time TV sets where, you get the staticky energy and the wavy lines. I don't know if I've got some weird memory about that, but you guys know what I mean. It's hard to explain. The whole room was like that. Next thing I know, because this was like the most intense thing trying to suck me out of my body or something. I don't know what they were trying to do. It was really, really ridiculous. The next thing I know, what do I see in front of me? I see Archangel Michael and John of TELSTAR. Now, I have on my channel here, I do have a channeling from John. I have maybe two, I don't remember. You go to my playlist if you want to see or listen to those channelings. So the two of them are coming towards me. But I couldn't, and they were trying to talk to me, but I couldn't hear them because their voices were completely garbled because everything was garbled. Like I couldn't make out their features. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you've been following me, you've probably heard me say that I can see interdimensionally. I can see these beings very crystal clear, just like I can see you, actually even more clear than I can see you. But I couldn't make them out because it was like everything was all staticky and weird and garbly, and they were trying to tell me something, but I couldn't hear their voices. It was almost like it was like if their voices were underwater and it was all staticky and it was all very like, I just want to say electronic, this weird electronic energy in the whole room. So I was just focusing on them. And they were actually assisting me, obviously holding me in place. But here's what's so interesting. This is what I want you guys to understand. What's so interesting reflecting back on this is there was no fear. It was awful, but there was no fear. Everyone knew exactly what was going on. I knew what was going on. Michael, John knew what was going on. These guys, whoever the heck they were, I don't even know, they sure knew what was going on. So everybody knew what was going on. There was nobody sitting there going, oh my goodness, what's happening? That was not happening, you guys, okay? This is the power of knowing your purpose. It's so powerful, you guys. So eventually, my connection with Michael and John was so strong, in spite of the fact that I couldn't make them out, in spite of the fact that I couldn't hear what they were saying to me. It was strong enough, and all of a sudden, they lost. These guys, I'm going to call them these guys, because I don't know who the heck they were, these ETs. It all stopped. Boom, it ended. They left. Everything went back to normal. The energy in the room, everything became clear. It all ended. I just passed out, man. I was exhausted. That was like, whoa, that was like so intense. Oh, you guys, I also want to add that it was absolutely clear to me that this entire incident was 100% connected to the guy from Sirius in the car. There was no question in my mind. They were completely connected. So I think that's really interesting because that's like a crossover, an interdimensional crossover between a physical experience and an interdimensional. Is just like crazy, isn't it? How much is really going on in this universe? Okay, so let me tell you one more really, really interesting thing that happened the next morning. So the next morning when I woke up, John was standing next to the bed. It was like he was waiting for me, right? Now I could see him crystal clear. He's an amazing, gorgeous being. I won't get into that right now, but I'll just tell you, he's like amazing, okay? So he's kind of bending over towards me and he's talking to me. And he said, the first thing he did, looks me right in the eyes, and he says, he was wearing this medallion. It was an incredible medallion. It's probably about this big maybe. And it's all encrusted with these stones. It looked like they were in some sort of a coated arrangement of some kind. Like they were like gemstones. I can't even describe it. And so he holds this thing out and he says to me, you see this? And he says, this means I know what I'm doing. Now, I know it might sound funny, but I knew exactly what he meant. He was referring to extraterrestrial situations, okay? So it's so funny. This means I know what I'm doing. So there was a lot of messaging coming to me behind those simple words, which is often what happens to me when I'm speaking to anyone in TELSTAR. And then he said, you don't have your wits about you here. Now, what that meant was that because I was incarnate on planet Earth, I didn't have the ability to fully comprehend what I would have the ability to comprehend if I was not in this physical body on this earth, because these biological bodies are designed, they're designed for slavery, you guys, okay? We've talked about that in previous videos. So he said, you don't have your wits about you here. And I totally got it. I mean, this is not like an insult, like, well, you're just insulting me. No, it was not an insult. It was a fact, okay? So I got it. I understood. He said, you don't have your wits about you here. Now, understand, this is all said with a tremendous amount of love, okay? Total, incredible love. And then he said something along the lines of, don't talk to anyone, meaning any extraterrestrial contact. He said, do not talk to anyone because you don't have your wits about you here. He said, if anyone approaches you, if anyone tries to talk to you, you send them to me, and then I'll decide if you should talk to them or not. In other words, he was going to act as the go-between, so I didn't get myself in trouble. Okay, isn't that awesome? And like he was protecting me, really. So he said, you send them to me first, and then if they're okay. Well, obviously, see, he didn't spell all this out. The thing you guys have to understand, when we communicate, a lot of it is, it's not linear. So they might say a few words to me, but there's a massive communication within those words. So it was really a few simple sentences, and this was the communication that was embedded in those words. So it's kind of like, send them to me first. See, because he's the expert. I'm telling you guys, he is the expert. It is amazing. He's absolutely amazing. I don't know what else to say. So I'm like, okay, I got it. So I had no trouble agreeing to that because it made complete and total sense to me. Because see, we all work together. They're not like in charge of me. We work together. We're in a partnership together. Okay. So anyway, I got up. Do you guys know it took me 24 hours to recover from that experience? I felt like the atoms and molecules in my body were so scrambled, were so messed up, and I was so drained, I was so tired. It literally took an entire day and night for me to reestablish my own balance and feelings of normalcy. I didn't do anything the whole day because I just couldn't. But it slowly reestablished itself, and I felt normal again by the next day, and everything was fine. I knew they were not ever coming back again. That was 100% clear, no question whatsoever. They knew it was like it was over, okay? It was just over. That was it. Now, here's another cool thing, because he gave me that advice, John did. Well, here's what happened, because I was living still in the DC area when this happened, and then later on, I moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I was living in an area that was much more rural. And one night, somebody did try to contact me, another extraterrestrial attempt at contact. So this was interesting. They were outside. They were probably, well, I think our yard was like about 2 acres, I'll say, and they were probably about 1.5 acres away from the house, because I knew exactly where they were. There were 3 of them, and they were like alligator people. Now, I did not know there were alligator reptile ETs at the time. I'd never heard of them before. So I knew they were there, and they were trying to telepathically contact me. And I was instantly aware of they were there. I could get a vision of what they looked like. And I'm like, alligator people? That's weird, man. What the heck is that, right? They wanted to contact me. They wanted to communicate with me. But guys, I remembered what John had told me. So I communicated to them, no, you have to go talk to him first. You go talk to him. I will not talk to you unless you talk to him first. Well, never heard from him again. And this had happened several other times where some entity, some extraterrestrials, we're not talking about, etheric entities. We're talking about actual extraterrestrials trying to contact me, and I would send them to John. I'd never hear from them again. That's how I knew they weren't okay, see? Well, years later, I find out these alligator people are definitely not okay. No way are they okay. So I'm like, that is so cool. Isn't that just the coolest thing? So yeah, I haven't had any trouble like that ever since. Now, the point I want to make about that entire story that I told you was that was not an effort to interfere with what I was here to do. That was about trying to take me over into another purpose. I want to point something out to you guys just as food for thought. If that sounds horrifying to you, I want you to think about something, you guys. How many times have we talked about the fact that all of us on this planet as a humanity are being already used for another purpose, right? It's a slave planet. Go watch some of my other videos where I talk about this at length. People on this earth have already been enslaved for another purpose. So part of what we're here to do as TELSTAR with Archangel Michael is to promote the freedom of the souls on this earth, freedom from this whole system of fear and slavery and pain and suffering. That's really what we're trying to do here. That's our purpose in being here. So I wanted to share that story with you because I wanted you to understand the power of being really clear of your life purpose in this universe, your purpose for existing in this universe, your purpose as a cosmic creator, and how powerful that is. Can you tell when I told you guys that story that I was not telling that story from a place of fear? I was not telling that story from a place of having felt intimidated. Could you tell that? And that's the point I wanted to get across. When you are really centered in your cosmic purpose, in your true life purpose in this universe, you're solid. You really are solid in who you are. And it changes everything. Okay, so I wanted to share all of this with you guys because I really feel a concern at the way things are going on this planet and how you can just get so inundated with all this craziness that you could really lose your way. The way to get in touch with your purpose is to spend time in meditation, spend time with your inner being, get to know yourself, become your own best friend at the deepest possible level. Go beneath your emotions, go beneath your everyday thoughts, go beneath your conscious mind, connect with your heart. As I always tell you guys, your heart is the gateway to the universe. Your heart has for you all the visioning you need about the truth of who you are and what life is really meant to be. So all you really have to do is listen to that. So you can start to live your cosmic purpose in the universe by remembering what I said at the beginning of this video. Shift your energy to love and light. That's your foundational purpose. That's the absolute foundation no matter what is going on this planet. That is when you are centered in who you are as a cosmic being, when you are expressing love, light, and that high vibrational energy. Every single person on this planet is capable of that. All you have to do is just decide to live from that place. Now, before I go, I want to remind you one more time about my new digital course, Meditation for Spiritual Awakening, because right now I'm launching it at a very special founder's discount. So guys, if you want help with going to your inner being, who you really are, I designed this course specifically for your spiritual awakening. It's not just a meditation course just to meditate. It's very specific to your awakening and to your ascension process. So check out the link in the description below and you can learn all about it and see if you feel that it's a fit for you. Now, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it out with your friends. And be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because I am here every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday with new videos to support you in your spiritual awakening and your ascension journey. And with that, I'm sending you all loads of love, light, and positive energy. Stay empowered in your true cosmic purpose. Namaste.